Welcome back to the Hoof and Fang podcast. I'm Kirt Graves.
And I'm Maz Maddox.
How is your week going, Maz?
It's going.
It proceeds.
It proceeds.
It continues.
Yeah. It's like, so we've got a lot of fun stuff going on, like in our world, but outside it's just been nuts. Like just very dumb.
Meaning not podcast world.
Yeah, not podcast world.
Yeah.
Like the outside of Hoof and Fang has just been bonkers. Like I've got both my parents went in for like surgery last week. Well, they're fine. But like they let me know like way last minute. So they'll text me like the night before and be like, oh, by the way, like I'm having all of my teeth removed or something. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well,
hey, at least you get some notice ahead of time.
Fair.
Sometimes I'll see my parents and they'll be like, oh yeah, 3 months ago I was in the hospital for a couple of days. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, why didn't you tell me that?
Well, what were you going to do? I'm like,
come see you.
Be concerned, know about it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Why do we tell our families anything?
Exactly.
If you only tell the people who can actively help you heal, then
but
like fair enough.
Yeah,
I'm not going to help you get better, but John's a physical therapist. He might be able to help.
Right? It's just family's weird, man. Family's weird.
Mine in particular.
I think I'd be exceptionally pissed if I didn't hear about it at all until like way after the fact.
It's not even like there's nothing to get mad about. It's just like, what?
Yeah. I mean,
okay. Obviously everything's fine because here you are telling me about it, but like I sincerely hope at some point that if something really serious happens, they let me know.
Yeah, I hope
I don't
so.
show up to be like, hey, we haven't visited my parents in a while. And my dad's like, oh, she died.
Well, I mean, what could you do about it?
Yeah. Did I forget to tell you? I mean, you're way up in Green Bay. What are you going to do?
Yeah, way up in Green Bay. You're
way
like,
up there.
You're an hour away.
Yeah,
like,
right?
give me a break.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
So things keep going, and we do have some exciting things hopefully in the future that we'll be sharing with people. So if you are not subscribed to our Patreon, that is where all that good stuff will be coming out. So we highly recommend checking that out. We have exciting things coming your way. More exciting things have happened in the world. Yesterday, the Audie nominations came out. When this episode airs, it will have been earlier this week.
Right.
And some of our own got nominated for Best Erotica.
So cool.
Michael Leslie narrating Lily Morton's Monster series.
It's awesome.
Or Monstrous series, I think the series is called.
Okay.
Forgive me if I'm getting that wrong. I didn't write it down.
Yeah.
My bad. My bad. But yeah, MM Romance is represented in Erotica at the Audies, which is the Oscars of audiobooks. So if you know either of them or you are fans of either of them, make sure to reach out and say congratulations, because that is a huge deal for audiobooks.
That's very cool.
That's as big as it gets.
Yeah. Very cool. Well, congrats to them.
Yeah,
well deserved. That's awesome.
And if you really enjoy listening to my voice, this week we also released some teaser episodes of my other podcast.
Oh, very fun.
So it is called the Narrator Roundtable. It is available wherever podcasts are found, as well as on YouTube. You can look it up in either place.
Cool.
And it is essentially, there's a group of us, there's 5 of us who are like the 5 permanent hosts, and we will kind of rotate in and out of doing episodes. Think like The View.
Oh, okay.
Where there's like the regular group, but like they kind of come and go sometimes.
Right.
And then a guest host every week where we just talk about some shit that's going down in the audiobook industry or things that we think need to be addressed. And sometimes we're talking about the craft of audiobooks. But if you've ever been interested in more of a behind the scenes look about being an audiobook narrator, this will be a way for you to get that inside look. And if you've ever been interested in narration, we are going to be telling a lot of tales. So
cool.
You know, it's that thing where like people end up like in rooms like talking and like that's where the real shit comes out.
Oh yeah.
But there's only like 4 or 5 people there.
Yeah.
We're broadcasting that.
That's great.
So it's those types of conversations, but we're putting them out in the world. So hopefully that interests at least a few people who listen to this podcast.
For sure.
If you want to go check that out, we would appreciate the subscribe and the likes and the reviews.
Good. Awesome. I'll make sure to tune in. I love hearing about other drama, even if I'm not a part of it. Like that just sounds like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, tell me the dirt.
Well,
like,
and there's drama to be had in our industry as there is every industry, I'm sure.
Oh, you can't avoid it. I think anytime you're working with other humans, drama happens.
Yes.
Even if everyone seems very cool, it's impossible to navigate. So yeah, it sounds fun.
Yeah. So there's 5 episodes out. It's an introductory episode for each one of the 5 hosts. And then on February 14th, on Valentine's Day, we are launching the first episode as a love letter to our industry.
Oh, so cheesy.
And our guest host for that episode is queer romance narrator Joel Leslie Frumkin.
Hey, awesome.
So
very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even the one to invite him on.
Okay. I was going to say, okay, well, that makes it even more special.
But it's still a very gay episode. Perfect
love
for
that.
Valentine's Day.
Yes. Make Valentine's gay.
Make Valentine's gay. Yeah. So those are some things that have happened this week. And we released our audiobook last week.
Yes. 3 Meant to Be.
3 Meant to Be by M.N. Bennett is out in the world. It exists.
Yes.
Those crazy kids with their powers.
It's
you can
so
go
fun.
check it out.
Yeah.
And do tell us if you're listening and enjoying it. We love to hear from listeners.
Yes.
Next month, we are going to be doing, drum roll please. Oh, that was really good.
Thank you.
That was nice. Our February audiobook is Faces by A.M. Rose.
Ooh.
So this is perfect for the month of Valentine's Day. It is a very romantic, shorter, but like not in a bad way.
Okay. Well, because the last one was kind of sprawling.
Yes. And February is a short month, damn it. So I needed something shorter. So it's just a perfect fit for like the month of Valentine's. But obviously it will be coming out at the end of the month as they always do.
Right.
So a beautiful romance with a touch of magic and
awesome.
Highly recommend checking out more information about that online and know that the audiobook is coming to you at the end of next month.
Exciting.
So that's coming up.
Yep.
What else is coming up on the Patreon?
So on the Patreon, actually starting today, which is very exciting, I'm going to start releasing...
Today, or like today, Friday?
Today, Friday.
Today, Friday.
So when this airs, it will be available. Today, Friday. I'm going to start releasing some work in progress chapters for our $5 members. So anybody who's at least subscribed to the Dear Reader level will get access to this stuff. So I'm going to be doing weekly updates of my work in progress chapters. So this is like unedited. I typed it, just said it's good, and you guys get to read it. So this is like before it gets touched by betas and stuff like that.
It's a hot mess, y'all.
It's a hot mess. So you're going to need to forgive the weird Maz doesn't know grammar rules. There's a lot of dashes where they're not supposed to be and stuff. So you get to see what my brain looks like.
I was going to say, this is going to be such a peek behind the scenes.
Y'all, I'm dyslexic. I'm doing my best. I go fast and loose with the punctuation. Like I pay very nice people to tell me to stop doing things. But yeah, so
that's somebody else's job.
Yeah, I yes, and God bless them because they got the work cut out for them. It's not that bad, but I'm sure my editor somewhere is screaming. So I'm going to be doing Wild Contracts 2 is with the betas. So I'm going to start releasing those chapters. So you can actually go read chapter 1 on our Patreon right now. It's up, it's available, it's ready to rock and roll. And then I also have Relic short stories in the oven. The first one is already done and it's with the betas right now. It's going to be Simon's story about his shifting process when he discovers what happens after he's been taking his dinosaur hormones. So like what he gets to turn into, how he handles that, where he's at when that happens, all that good stuff. So that'll be exclusive to the Patreon. And I'm very excited about it. And I've got some other fun short stories planned. And I plan on doing some story polls for people. So after the first couple short stories are out, members will be able to vote on like what they want to see next and like who the story will star and all that good stuff. So some good shit.
Some good shit.
Good shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Boys.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it's.
I only play them in books.
Yeah, I like them. I can't really play a convincing one either. But anywho, so yeah, that's what we have going on, and I'm excited to finally kind of like jump in and do it. We kind of discussed it when we first started doing the Patreon, like, oh, Am I going to do short stories and stuff? I'm like, you know what? Damn it. Yes.
We're doing it.
We're doing it.
We're doing it.
We're just going to commit. We're going to make it happen. We're going to make people happy. So
make people happy. Bring more people into the fold.
Yeah.
We're creating our little coven.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's time.
It is
Time to grow the coven.
Yes. We need to come up with a fun little cute name for our Patreon people.
Yeah.
Like my Facebook group is my minions, so we need to think of something to call them. Maybe that can be another poll. What do you want us to call you?
Yeah, exactly.
What are your nicknames?
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll put that in the plan. We'll do that at some point.
You're in charge of that.
Okay, I'll make a note. Yeah, we'll do that. We need to do more polls and open it up to people so they can get more involved in the fun shenanigans happening.
We should do a
over
poll
there.
about whether or not people want more polls.
Yes.
Or more poll.
See, you
made
can.
it gay.
That's what we do here over at Hoof and Fang.
That's what
We're
we do.
We're making Valentine's Day gay. We're making Patreon gay. Love
Everything's going to be gay. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's our job. Well, speaking of other gay things that we like,
I was really wondering how you were going to transition. I was like, is she going to do it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to do it. Let's talk about anti-heroes.
Yes.
They could be gay or not, preferably gay though. Not really. So I wanted to talk about favorite lovable bad guys and books, media, film, that kind of stuff. So let me hear them. I want to hear about your favorite.
So I've sort of split mine up into categories.
Oh, okay.
Because, well, the first one, like, there are just so many good ones that I was like, I don't want to go through a long list of them, but I'll group them.
Okay.
And that is like MCU/Marvel Comics anti-heroes.
Okay. Excellent.
I think they're excellent at writing anti-heroes.
Yeah.
Especially in the X-Men franchise. Two of my favorites.
Okay.
Magneto.
Yes.
And Mystique.
Yes. Love that.
Like, they're like, I couldn't pick between the two. I love them both.
Yeah.
Just classic anti-heroes in that they are often the enemy, but sometimes we have to team up with them. And honestly, when they make their case for why they do the things they do, there's a part of you that's like, well,
yeah,
they're not wrong though.
Right. Yeah.
They're not wrong. So like, you're sort of rooting for them, even when sometimes you're like, oh no, stop it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
their methods might be rough, but like the message behind it or like their motivations are very human.
And there are times when like the story centers around what they are doing. Like they really do become the heroes, the protagonists of the plot. So another one in that category would be my beloved Tom Hiddleston as Loki.
Oh
in
yeah.
the MCU.
Yeah. Hard to beat that one.
Oh, Tom.
That was the role he was born to play, I swear.
I heart him so much. And I heart him in that role. And I heart Loki. And I loved the second and final season of Loki and what they did with his character and like true anti-hero. He is wonderful and great.
Yeah.
And also in the MCU, I love the Scarlet Witch.
That one
Elizabeth Olsen is so good in
Yeah.
that role.
Well, and that was such a good storyline.
Great series that featured her, like, and I think great things are to come. I really, really love what they've done with the Scarlet Witch in the MCU.
Yeah. I feel like we could talk about that one for a long time because I remember it was so conflicting at the very end, and we're going to spoil the shit out of this. I don't care. But like, and
turn us off now if you haven't watched WandaVision or Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially in WandaVision, because it was like, when you find out like her kid, like everything's just manifested and like she has to just murder everyone to set everyone free.
Well, I wouldn't say murder, but yeah.
She murder her imaginary friends. It was just, I was almost like, I mean, do you have to though? I mean, can anyone really stop you? You could just keep doing this. You know what I mean? Like I went full evil. I just went full wicked witch.
Well,
I was
listen, just go find an abandoned town. The problem was that she took over a bunch of people's lives in an existing city.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, no, that's not great.
That's not good.
That's not good. But like, just go find a farm and you can like manifest your fake
family.
People there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's ways around it. But like I said, because I got so attached to her and her family and stuff by the end of it, I was just like, fuck them. You know?
Right.
I mean, she's the Scarlet Witch in the movie franchise and within the comic books is like the top tier superpower.
Yeah.
You can manipulate reality. Okay.
Yeah.
Like nobody can touch you. And it's like that in the comic books too. Like it's so cool. And I remember I read, Scarlet M or something. The
House of M.
House of M. Yeah. And I remember reading that and that one just being like, this character is like the most OP character in the entire universe. So yeah.
OP
love that.
means
overpowered.
Overpowered. Okay.
Super sorry. Yeah. But yeah, man, that's a great pick for antihero. I love her.
So those are my Marvel MCU antiheroes.
Okay.
What's one or some of yours?
So I picked out my top 2, but now I'm gonna have to like scramble because I like you have a whole list. I'm like, oh shit. So the first ones I wanted to talk about were from the Locked Tomb trilogy, or the series, because I think there's more than 3 books. But it's the Gideon the Ninth. It's the lesbian necromancers in space.
Love those lesbians.
Yes.
Yes.
Like every character in those books are bad. Like the entire cast of characters are all anti-heroes, which made it so fun because they're all kind of assholes. But then of course, as you like delve into it, you realize their motivations are awesome, but their reasoning on how they're behaving is just not there. Like they're just bad people. But they're interesting, they're funny, and they're basically trying to better the universe by dismantling how it's been crafted in the necromancy way. But man, there's some of the most compelling, weird anti-heroes. Like, I could probably talk about this way too long, but I'm trying to pinpoint exactly why I like it so much. I think my favorite one, her name is Anthe, and she's this like snobby, like mousy, like she seems like this sickly character at the beginning of the first book. And then by the end of it, she's like terrifying because she figures out a way to like puppet her dead siblings around and stuff. And like by the end, like in the
sounds like an anti-hero,
dude. And like, it's wild. She's so terrible, but such a bitch that I loved her. Like, cause she's this untouchable force and she's just like, ew, you're pathetic, but also cute in a mousy sort of way. And I was like, oh God, I want her to marry me. And this is a toxic relationship.
Yep.
So, but yeah, highly recommend. If you like, what is it that I support women's rights and women's wrongs? That's the motto of these books. Yeah. Like, cause there are some heroes, but the women doing the wrongs is what makes it like, hell yeah. Like, nice. This is so good.
Nice.
So yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Okay. So my second bucket.
Okay.
Because there were 2 and I was like, I want to talk about both of them.
Okay.
These are my Showtime anti-hero baddies.
Excellent.
So that first was Dexter. Did you ever watch Dexter?
I did, yeah.
So I watched the first 3 seasons and then a little bit of season 4 after the Trinity Killer. And I was like, it had gone downhill. And I was like, nope, I want to remember Dexter as the perfect 3 seasons of television that it was.
You did the right thing.
And I stopped.
Yep.
So I don't know if it got terrible or the same or better. I just don't. But
it doesn't matter because the first 3 seasons are great.
Yeah. And that's against character for me to be so into a show about a serial killer.
Yeah.
But that's how good the show is.
Yeah.
And how good that actor is to make me invested and on the side of somebody performing gruesome murders.
Yeah.
Surrounded by other people performing gruesome murders. I loved that show until I didn't, and then I stopped.
Yeah. Well, like I said, you made the right call because it's not that actor's fault, but the writing just took a nosedive pretty hard. But
and then my other one from Showtime is Nurse Jackie. Did you ever watch Nurse
didn't.
Jackie?
I think we started it and then something happened and we didn't finish it.
I love Edie Falco and just like a super flawed, not great human being. Yeah. Moving through the world. And I was just like, this is great TV. This is great TV. Somebody who is like, but like, honestly, genuinely, I still feel is like mostly a good person who just like, because of addiction and some other like maybe personal flaws, like does some shady shit. But like, I was always on her side, even though she was almost always the bad guy of the episode. Yeah.
Well, and I think that's what makes them so fun is because it almost gets boring when you have characters that are perfect or that are, you know, the tried and true Superman style, like I stand up for everything that's great. Those people don't exist. Like everybody has some type of weird flaw. And it's especially compelling when it's somebody who has these constant battles that they're trying to push through and they make bad choices, but at their core, they're not bad people. They're just They're just shit at making good decisions
Right.
sometimes.
Yeah.
So,
What is your second person?
well, I'm going to wedge one in there. Going off of good anti-heroes in TV. Did you ever watch BoJack Horseman?
I've seen episodes. I haven't
Okay.
watched the series.
I would even say maybe not even an anti-hero because he's just a bad person throughout. Like in his core, deeply flawed. Like, and you get a peek as to like why he is the way he is. He's got deep depression and abandonment issues and all kinds of stuff. But this man just is
Great topics for an animated.
it's so good.
Television
Well,
series?
because it looks so goofy, right? Because
Yeah.
they're all like animal people and normal people, and it's
Yep.
set in Hollywood and but like it's beautiful. Like the storytelling is great. The character arcs, like not just BoJack's because he's kind of a constant piece of shit, but like everyone else around him grows and gets better, but BoJack never does.
Oh,
And so like he realizes that in part of his journey, but like he's just a piece of shit.
yeah.
Like that's his whole journey. And it's just so good. Because by the end of it, even though he constantly makes other people's lives miserable, you still just want something to go right for the guy.
Yeah.
Like, because you know he's not trying to hurt people. He just does. That's his nature. So like even by the end of the episode with like the trail of damage behind him or the end of the series rather, I'm like, I just want him to have a happy ending.
Yeah.
I want something to work for this guy. And it's great, man. I highly recommend it. BoJack is the epitome of just the worst character that you're like, yay, BoJack.
And it's funny, right?
It is.
Okay, good.
They do a really good job of balancing these like deeply heavy, important topics of like depression, self-esteem issues. They have a whole character who suffers through infertility and her like coming ahead of that, which I can
Wow.
super relate to. So like these topics that are like on their own, I would never watch something about because it would bum me out. But they just swoop in with the punchlines just at the right time where you're like, I can breathe a little bit between it, but it's definitely worth a watch. If you can get into like an animated series, it's really good.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So my final one is actually just a single, but maybe it'll be grouped with yours as part of an animated series.
Okay.
And maybe he came to mind because I might be looking forward to the live action adaptation next year. And it's Zuko in The Last Airbender.
Oh,
Avatar: The
interesting.
Last Airbender.
Yeah. Fantastic.
And again, I don't know if I'm cheating because I'm basically like, I'm picking a lot of bad guys who then like become good guys.
I don't think that's cheating.
But I like, again, Dexter, it was sort of the exception of me being able to watch television shows where people are actually doing truly awful things.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't do Breaking Bad. I couldn't do The Shield. Like I couldn't do any of those. They were just too dark and sad.
Yeah.
But this is like a person who like, you understand why they are the way they are and why they're making the choices they are. They are a product of their circumstances.
Yeah.
And yet they overcome it and become part of a larger story and part of the hero arc. Like,
Yeah. I love that.
love that series. Don't know if
Man, I'm going to be
nervous about live
optimistic.
action.
Yeah. They need to do it justice. Like somebody really needs to like make this adaptation work. It deserves
If they're going to
it.
do it, they need to do it well.
Yes.
I'm still like, why did we do this?
I don't know.
The cartoon was perfect.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird trend right now where
Yeah.
they're like, oh, this is working really well in an animated capacity. Let's put people in it.
Right.
Why? You don't
Yeah.
need to. It's fine. Like
Right.
just
No.
fund them to make more of that.
Right.
Like I don't.
Also, it's still so much animation because that's what CGI is. It's just more animation.
Right.
Next to live actors doing hand motions.
Yeah, doing the
You know?
bending. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see.
Well-
Maybe our audience can let us know.
Yeah.
Yay or nay. Are you going to watch the adaptation? Do you even know about the cartoon?
Yeah, they're going to be, yeah, right. Yeah, well, hopefully it's the other way around where maybe they didn't know about the live action and they're like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
So,
The second series of that did get canonically gay.
yes.
So not out of place.
Yeah.
When you talk about
looping it
Last
back around.
Airbender. Korra, the second season, or not second season, like second version of that
Yeah.
show.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Avatar, Korra,
Mm-hmm.
whatever that series was called.
I don't remember. I'm like failing my nerdom right now.
Yeah. But it was also
brain.
very good. Great storytelling. I think they're doing another animated series too about
great.
yet another Bender, which I will watch and enjoy.
Absolutely.
So
the writing on that
a beautiful world, and I look forward to going back to it. And again, my fingers are crossed for that live action series.
Well, we'll remain optimistic until otherwise.
Yes. All right. So, bring us home.
So my last one is a video game one, so you're going to have to bear with me. Sorry. One of my I know, I'm sorry, your face. One of my absolute favorite franchises actually started in the early 2000s, and it was made to just be a dumb beat 'em up action game with like a very paper thin plot. And basically it's called God of War. You play as this very over the top, angry, macho dude who's a Spartan. And his whole mission is he's trying to take down all of the gods of Olympus because they tricked him and betrayed him. So the gameplay was basically just smashing things with weapons, bedding ladies, and killing things. It was ridiculous, but it was very popular. I loved it as a 15-year-old geeky child, and played the shit out of them. But then I think it ran for like 4 games, and then the people who were writing the game grew up and like had started a family, so they weren't like some 20-something-year-old dudes being like, let's make a smashy smash game. They were this around my age. So like when they made the newest version for the PS5, they took the main character Kratos and like completely gave him a beautiful arc. So at the end of the last batch of games, he ends up killing all the gods of Olympus and like ending that pantheon. And so they're gone.
Whoa, spoilers.
Yeah, sorry if you haven't played a 20-year-old game. But
well, I haven't.
Yeah, I know. Well, like anybody who's familiar would be like, yeah. So at the beginning of this, there's 2 games of this new version of Kratos now. He ran away from Greece, and ended up in like the Norse mythology. So
he just switched mythology.
He just bounced and goes in like across the world, ends up in the world of Norse mythology. He falls in love with a woman and has a child. And at the beginning of the new game, Faye, his wife, dies. And so like at the beginning of the game, he's like putting her on the burial pyre, and he's got his kid with him. And Atreus is like 12. Like he's a young kid. And like from the get-go, Kratos and Atreus do not have a great relationship. Like Kratos is very much like, I'm a warrior. I don't know how to handle kids. Like now the only person who knew how to handle kids and the love of my life is gone. What am I supposed to do with myself? Like, I don't know how to be a nurturing figure. I don't know how to be a father. So as you navigate this game with Kratos, it's him leaving behind his like smashy rage stupidness and like becoming like he's this old man now trying to figure out how to be a dad on his own. And it's beautiful.
Yeah. So
like Atreus has to figure out the fact that he's like half a god because Kratos is like a half a god. So I guess he's like a quarter god. So they're like navigating that together and dealing with grief and overcoming all these odds and stuff. So it's still very much an action game where you're like battling monsters and stuff. But at its core, it's Kratos like trying to connect with his son and learning how to live a life that's not being a warrior. And it's just gorgeous. So by the end of the first game, him and Atreus have like, found the tallest peak to spread Faye's ashes, and they've learned more about themselves and like found their relationship. By the end of the second game, Atreus has to leave and like start his own journey. And like Kratos has to let him go and like let him grow up and like do his own thing. And Kratos is like, I was like sobbing at the end of this game because we've navigated this entire arc with Kratos like learning to be a dad, and he's still flawed. He still makes mistakes. He still holds a lot of information back from Atreus, which like damages the relationship, but he's not doing it to be an asshole. He's doing it because he doesn't know how to tell Atreus the truth about a lot of things. So by the end of the second game, he's got to let his son go. And he's finally figured out how to be a dad. Now he's got to like let his son go be his own person. And it was such a good storytelling arc for him, because had they not done that, Kratos would have just been this other irrelevant, whatever 2000s game that like got shelved a long time ago. But instead they breathed life back into this character and gave him a very human, beautiful story where that's still very much a part of who he is. But now he's like, that's not me anymore. I'm an old man. I've got to be a dad, you know? And it's just, it was so good. It was like the most compelling story from this stupid, smashy, dumb franchise from my childhood. Now I'm like, you know, the writers of the games were talking about how they're like, we didn't want Kratos to just be another stupid whatever character. They're like, we have kids now. We don't want to just make games with boobies in them anymore. Like we want to be like, we want this to be a storytelling experience and make it beautiful. And it was my favorite. So Kratos going from being this cold-blooded, I'll kill everyone who stands in my way and I don't care, to like teaching his son that violence isn't always the answer, and like we don't wield our swords in hatred, and like we have to hone our minds and be compassionate to people. Otherwise, we're just going to get lost in more cycles of violence. And I was like, oh my God, like so good. So yeah, that was my absolute top tier favorite anti-hero is Kratos from God of War because of that. Yeah.
I can't believe you talked about that for 32 minutes.
I'm so sorry. I could talk about it forever, but I appreciate your patience of letting me just word vomit about God of War for this long. Sorry.
It's going to be like a whole side episode.
I know, God. Sorry. I like it a lot.
It wasn't 32 minutes. Okay. It might have actually been 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
That seems way more reasonable.
Folks who are watching or listening to this episode, how long? How long was it? You have timestamps in front of you.
I feel like, my favorite part of this is when she talked about God of War for a long time. Jeez.
Well, that's what you're getting this week instead of an author interview.
Yeah. It's me just screaming at you about 2000s games.
If you have thoughts on God of War,
or maybe other anti-heroes,
obviously you can reach out to Maz and have a very in-depth conversation. If you have any other thoughts, we'd love to hear from you. As always, you can get in touch with us at hoofandfangpodcast@gmail.com. You can find all of our socials and contact information in the show notes for this episode. And that's also where you can find a link to our Patreon. We invite you to join us there for all the cool things we've already talked about, the short stories, the works in progress. We are continuing to do our weekly Animorphs recaps.
Yes.
We are about to do Megamorphs number 2 in the Time of Dinosaurs.
I'm so excited.
Maz is going to freak the fuck out about that.
Yes, I am.
So it's a great time to hop on board. And we will be announcing some more exciting stuff later in February. So February is going to be a very exciting time over at Hoof and Fang. So come join us. And we look forward to chatting with you all next week.
Yeah, we'll see you then.
Bye.